don't think it's going to be a tiger. But one can never tell. The time that you assume that it's not a tiger will be the one time a tiger jumps out and eats you. How you going, guys? Welcome back to Walk It Off. I'm Nathan and I'd like to welcome you to what is probably going to be the last video for 2020 or the first video of 2021. Yeah, today we are out at the Kuitpo Forest exploring the Onkeeda Trail. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Let's go check out the map, eh? Kuitpo Forest is located just a 50-minute drive south of the Adelaide city centre. The trailhead can be found just off of Peters Creek Road and it does offer some off-road car parking, but beware, there is some soft sand in the car park, so people with small cars should be wary of that one. The trail offers a wide variety of surfaces ranging from a very soft white sand that's quite difficult to walk in to the wide open gravel fire trails that you'll find throughout South Australia. Now the track is going to be quite flat today except for a really steep small section in the Mount Panorama Native Wildlife Preserve. Today we're going to be walking 11.2 kilometres round trip, so we're going to get back to the car. Its elevation starts down at 279 metres and goes up to a max height of 376 metres above sea level. Its inclination maxes out during that little hill during the Mount Panorama section, and it will max out at 32.9%, but its average is only 4.8, so like I said, quite flat. Now, as usual guys, there is a Google Maps link in the description below if you'd like to follow this one for yourself. Hope to see you out there. Let's hit the trail. So welcome to Kuitpo, everyone. Been recommended this walk by several people. Finally getting around to exploring it. Today we're doing the Onkeeda Trail, about 10.5 kilometres. I hope you enjoy it. I must admit I really enjoy the walks where I'm out in amongst the pines. So I thought I'd get straight back to it after Christmas. Probably ate my own weight in carbs over that 3 or 4 days, so it's time to start walking it off. Love the smell of pine trees. Oh, but this track is a not nice combination of sand and pine trees. Can't say I've ever actually seen that before. So someone online to me recently made a comment calling me crazy for going out here walking in places like this by myself, but I don't think I'd have it any other way. There's something nice just about being out here amongst the elements by yourself. It's a little bit, this is the first year that my family and I went and bought a real Christmas tree. Went and did the lumberjack thing and cut it down myself with me bare hands. Just the smell of it in the house is absolutely amazing. It's in stark contrast to my grandma's Christmas tree, which I saw over the break, which is still the same one with the same decorations from when I was a little kid. Which brings me, I guess, to the topic that I would like to talk about today, being nostalgia. Nostalgia and its part in depression. If you don't get what I mean by that, is depression that is born out of longing for times that no longer exist. So I guess in a sense, nostalgia is almost like anti-mindfulness. I guess we're kind of looking back at times past with rose-coloured glasses on, where I think, you know, you can have positive nostalgia experiences, and then you kind of have almost like weaponized nostalgia. That is very much epidemic of remakes and reboots that plague our entertainment industry. It's a kind of weaponized nostalgia. Like, the most recent take on it, I think, would be the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Just sprinkle a little bit of nostalgia at them and oh my god, all is forgiven. I don't really like that type of nostalgia. And there's other kinds of nostalgia that are kind of like very odd. Like, we're burning through pop culture faster than we can generate it almost. I mean, like, I'm not sure how to describe this current kind of nostalgia thing that I'm gonna trip on for a bit. One second, I gotta do my bit. There are certain parts of things that the way we used to do them, while it seems slow and now is, you know, everything's now like, are we killing people's attention span by having instant gratification all of the time? And I don't know, or am I having a weird nostalgia trip for things like video stores where we'd have to be very particular? You know, it's like the digital photography versus film photography, where film used to cost you money and therefore you were very particular and very critical and each shot was worth something to you, whereas everything's just so throwaway and disposable. And I'm wondering, is that leading to some mental health problems with people, where actually kind of retro nostalgia may actually be what we need? I don't know, let's discuss it in the comments. As you'd expect, there's a lot of similarity between Kuitpo and Mount Crawford. I won't claim that they are, but it appears to be the same species of pine. It smells very similar anyway. I mean, just the sound. It's kind of calming. So thus far the trail has been a mix of soft sandy surface and just loose quarry gravel. It is the typical fire trail around South Australia that we've all come to know and love, but it is also mixed with this very soft white sand that you'll sink into a fair bit. Like always, I've come out here mid-afternoon, so you're going to have to put up with horrible lighting, I'm afraid. Yeah, thus far there's been an absolutely gorgeous juxtaposition of these ferns that you see around the hiking trails from Adelaide and the pine trees from forestry. So it's absolutely beautiful. Two of my favourite things from the walking trails, all in the one track. And the trail's been quite flat thus far, sticking to these rocky sand fire trails. Looks to be much of the same throughout this particular reserve. So I'd like to know, has nostalgia ever backfired on you? Seen it backfire on a few people. I know you get into your 30s and you do feel nostalgic for your early 20s, but found any time when you go back and behave in such a way that you did in a time that is now since past, it kind of, I don't know, it has a very empty and hollow feeling about it. Like you shouldn't be doing this. Now, Nothing wrong with partying down, so to speak, but I don't know. When you see it amongst people in their 30s, it's kind of like, I don't know, like you should be more mindful of what you're doing with your time. So no, I was right the first time. I ended up making a wrong turn on top of a wrong turn. Well, I hope you enjoyed our minor detour through the Mount Panorama Native Scrub Preserve. Nice little walk through that section there. Oh, tough slog up that hill. I'll tell you what, legs will be feeling that one tomorrow. It's really overcast when I came in here. Now it's actually blue skies and only sporadic cloud. I do think we're going to start losing light pretty soon. It's going to get real cold real quick, I think. Looks like we're leaving the native area and going back to the pine forest. So I do believe this is the trail that we should have been on. Oh, but we got diverted because I has the dump. So that's where I should have come out. Go Google Maps. So when is nostalgia bitten you in the bum? I mean, I quite often have very nostalgic feelings for my high school days when I was singing in a band. Every now and again I feel a strong push to want to start down that path again, but it's kind of knowing that it's okay to not pursue it in a way is the grown-up part of nostalgia, just to look back at it and just be like, yeah, I did that. I don't need to do it anymore. And some people just don't seem to be able to let go of it properly. I want to keep reliving those feelings. But I mean, you'll find as you keep exhibiting that behaviour into adulthood that it becomes more taxing and it might cost you more. I mean, you could say that I'm a very nostalgic person, kind of in the way of clinging to my artwork, but that evolved, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with something evolving. I mean, it's always so tragic to see someone that just can't move on in their lives from something, no matter how much they need to. It can equally be as tragic to, I mean, the loss of your inner child is always something that you want to hold on to it. You don't want to kill it completely. You want to kind of maintain that healthy sense of being able to feel awe and inspiration when you need it. Is it wrong to say that we kind of need both? I think a lot of people in 2020 could really use reawakening their inner child, but also an awful lot of people could really use a big kick in the bum and told to grow up, quite frankly. Interesting times we live in. But I'm unsure whether anybody's really going to be feeling nostalgic for 2020. We'll see, hey? I think that a little bit of nostalgia is healthy. However, I can understand why people overindulge in it. Sorry, my hair is absolutely out of control. Yeah, how people can really overindulge in nostalgia and they end up getting their nostalgia bubble popped. And then it kind of really poisons the memories, the good memories that they do have of the thing they're being nostalgic about, because it's been ruined by the new memory, the kind of replacement one. Yeah, I know that some of the worst emotions that I've felt have come from, I guess, a type of nostalgia in regards to just people in my life that weren't who I thought they were. And yeah, that's always a very bitter pill to swallow when that happens. But I've heard it said that, you know, if you're depressed, it's because you're living in the past, and if you're anxious, it's because you're living in the future. So, yeah, I guess it just pays to keep your nostalgia goggles in check. You don't want to live your life with them. I think that'll lead to some stunted growth. Have you ever had anything ruined by having your nostalgia bubble popped? Like you used to enjoy something, or like you used to like a movie and then they rebooted it and it was absolutely awful and it completely ruined it for you. I'd say there's quite a lot of that going around at the moment. Michael Bay's Transformers movies did that for me. Like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And then it makes you go back and watch the original cartoon. You're like, oh my god, what the hell was I thinking? But at the end of the day, I was a young boy and it's giant transforming robots. I mean, come on, couldn't find a more self-explanatory. I think part of the reason why having the nostalgia bubble popped hurts so much is because you can never get it back. Like once it's popped, it is completely gone. And my hunch is that is to do with new memories override old ones, but not in the way that you think. So your old memories are always still there. And Sam Harris talks about neuronal pathways, and that's kind of what a memory is a map, or a network map in a way, of how all like it's like a 3D structure inside the brain, and each time your brain goes and runs through that memory, not only is it retracing that path, but it's reinforcing it. But each time it reinforces it, it changes it slightly. And I've heard it spoken about the fact that you're not each time you remember it, you're not actually remembering the initial memory. Each time you remember it, it retraces the last time you remembered it. And each time you do that, it rewrites parts of it. So I'm pretty sure that this is why cognitive behavioral therapy works, is you're kind of overriding the initial painful memory with a new positive way of looking at it. I'm not sure whether that's true, but I reckon I'm close to the money there. Ooh, I'm glad I bought this jumper now. So have you been indulging your nostalgia through 2020? I think a lot of people have just been feeling nostalgia for their social lives at the moment, which I don't blame them at all. However, you don't want to be rushing back into toxic friendships with your nostalgia goggles on, only for it to all blow up in the end anyway. We are now entering the Knott Hill Native Forest Reserve. Just like that section earlier on that we took. And the track has opened back up again. The forest has parted. It's time for double time and back to the car. Sounds weird, but I'm not sure if there's a name for this at all, but a kind of like meditating to try and kind of to force a kind of nostalgic thinking about the future in a sense. Hopefully without the huge disappointment that comes along if it doesn't happen, but kind of force a more future orientated mode of thought. About 2 k's left to go. I know there's about 3 or 4 trails out here. I will be back Kuitpo, so I do already have this weird kind of like pre-nostalgia. That's what I'm going to call it from now on anyway. Growing up, watching a lot of sci-fi, reading a lot of sci-fi, I kind of have this weird nostalgia for anything to do with space travel in a kind of way that I know that I will never get to see it myself. And yeah, I have to try to not let it really bum me out, which is kind of, I guess, what has led me to take a real interest in astronomy and space travel and things like that. But it's weird. Do you have kind of like a weird pre-nostalgia about something that you might not get to do? Anyway, I don't know what to call this emotion besides pre-nostalgia, but it's definitely got a very nostalgic kind of vibe to it. So internet, is there a word for what I'm trying to describe? Back in the pines now. I think there's a small pocket of them. It goes back into the made grid structure like the rest of the forest. As we turn and head back for the car. I guess that word that I was looking for before could be summed up as a kind of longing in a way. However, I'm not sure if that's the way to describe it, because it does carry with it a kind of nostalgia. It's almost like a nostalgia for something that didn't happen or hasn't happened yet. Tell you what, I've never really been this deep into the forest this late. It's very pretty. At the same time, you can kind of feel it getting colder, and you can see that you're losing light, and it kind of gives you a little bit of an ominous feeling. Even though I'd probably be the only person crazy enough to be out here at night. Oh, we're back on the sandy stuff now. It really is this pure white beach sand. Unbelievably white.
With a forest.
Oh, these sandy tracks are hard to walk on. I walk on the side of the trail as I step in the really loose, deep sand. Puts a bit of extra pressure on my knee. Alrighty guys, unfortunately this is the end of our journey for this week, and that will take us to the end of 2020. I hope to see you all when I start the group hikes in 2021. Be really good to see some new faces out on the trail. As always, I'm Nathan. This has been Walk It Off. I hope that 2020 came good for you in the end, and I hope you have a great and prosperous 2021. Let's make this the year that 2020 should have been. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, go outside, get better, be awesome. See you next time, guys.